This story began in smoke-filled factories, and it shaped the world you live in today. The Industrial Revolution is one of the greatest turning points in human history. Beginning in the mid-18th century, this process fundamentally changed the way people produce goods. Humanity moved away from small-scale, handcrafted production and entered an era of machine-based, mass production carried out in factories. The world before the Industrial Revolution and the reasons for its emergence. Before the Industrial Revolution, most societies were largely agricultural. Production took place in homes or small workshops and relied on human and animal power. This system is known as the domestic system. Production was slow, limited in quantity, and entirely dependent on manual labor. Population growth was also quite low. Epidemics, poor nutrition, and limited medical knowledge placed societies under constant strain. However, during the 17th and 18th centuries, major developments occurred in European agriculture. New farming tools, improved cultivation techniques, and crop rotation significantly increased productivity. The agricultural revolution made it possible to produce more with fewer workers. As a result, the need for labor in rural areas declined. Farmers who lost their land or their jobs began migrating to cities. This wave of migration created a large workforce that would later be employed in factories. At the same time, the spread of scientific thinking, the rise of entrepreneurship, and the rapid accumulation of capital became key foundations of the Industrial Revolution. Why did the Industrial Revolution begin in England? The fact that the Industrial Revolution began in England was no coincidence. England possessed rich reserves of coal and iron. Coal was essential for powering steam engines, while iron was used extensively in the construction of machines, bridges, and railways. England's vast colonial network also provided a major advantage. Cheap raw materials were brought from the colonies, processed in English factories, and then sold back to these markets. This created a constantly expanding industrial system. Political stability, the protection of private property, and support for entrepreneurs further distinguished England. A well-developed banking and financial system made it easier for industrialists to invest. Together, these factors laid the groundwork for the Industrial Revolution to begin in England. Mechanization, factories, and the technological revolution. At the heart of the Industrial Revolution lay mechanization. The textile industry led this transformation. Spinning and weaving machines dramatically increased production speed while reducing costs, causing the number of factories to grow rapidly. The steam engine, perfected by James Watt, became the symbol of this era. Steam power replaced human and animal labor. Factories were no longer dependent on rivers and began to concentrate in urban centers. Advances in iron and steel production allowed for stronger machines and accelerated the development of railways, bridges, and industrial infrastructure. The massive increase in production laid the foundations of the modern capitalist economic system. The effects of the Industrial Revolution on society and the modern world. The Industrial Revolution brought profound changes in transportation and urbanization. Steam-powered trains and railways enabled faster movement of people and goods. Steamships transformed global trade, connecting continents like never before. Cities grew rapidly, but this growth was largely unplanned. Overcrowding, unhealthy living conditions, and harsh working environments made life extremely difficult for the working class. Long working hours, low wages, and child labor became widespread. These conditions eventually led to formation of labor unions and the rise of workers' rights movements. Many of the social rights we enjoy today are the result of these struggles. While the Industrial Revolution drove technological progress, it also caused environmental pollution, deepened income inequality, and intensified colonial exploitation. Despite these negative consequences, its role in shaping the modern world is undeniable. For this reason, the Industrial Revolution is not merely a historical event. It is a turning point that continues to define the world we live in today. The Second Industrial Revolution, electricity, mass production, and new power balances. By the late 19th century, the Industrial Revolution entered a new phase known as the Second Industrial Revolution. While steam power and coal dominated the first phase, electricity, oil, and steel became central in this new era. The widespread use of electricity led to a major leap in productivity. Factories could operate day and night, and machines became safer and more efficient. Assembly line production emerged, allowing each worker to focus on a single task and making mass production possible. Automobiles, telephones, light bulbs, and modern machinery became symbols of this period. Henry Ford's use of mass production techniques in automobile manufacturing fundamentally transformed industry. Products became cheaper, consumption increased, and mass society began to take shape. This transformation also altered global power dynamics. Industrialized nations grew stronger economically and militarily, while those that failed to industrialize fell behind. As a result, global inequalities became more pronounced. Toward the end of the 19th century, the Second Industrial Revolution accelerated. Electricity, oil, and steel reshaped production systems, making them more efficient and organized. Mass production and assembly lines became widespread. Telephones, automobiles, and electrical household appliances radically changed daily life. In the long run, the Industrial Revolution accelerated economic growth and improved living standards. However, it also brought serious challenges such as environmental pollution, income inequality, and the deepening of colonial exploitation. Ultimately, the Industrial Revolution was not just a technological era. It was a major social transformation that reshaped human history. The global impact of the Industrial Revolution and its reflection on today's world. The Industrial Revolution was not limited to Europe. It was a global process that affected the entire world. Industrialized states expanded colonialism to secure raw materials and new markets. This deeply transformed the economic and social structures of many societies in Africa and Asia. Countries that industrialized late, such as the Ottoman Empire, struggled to compete economically with Europe. Handcrafted production could not rival industrial goods, increasing foreign dependency and leading to significant political consequences. Many of the technologies we use today have their foundations in the Industrial Revolution. Modern cities, working hours, factories, offices, and even consumption habits are products of this era. At the same time, environmental issues such as global warming and the rapid depletion of natural resources are among the long-term consequences of industrialization. Understanding today's technological transformations requires a deep understanding of the Industrial Revolution. The goal of this video is to present the Industrial Revolution not merely as a historical topic, but as a grand story of transformation that explains how the modern world was shaped.